Hey guys, welcome to another video onto my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to talk about how to overcome disappointments. Let's get right to it. There are a lot of times in life where all of us tend to get disappointed whenever things are not going away or we face a situation and let's say you're playing a game and everything's on the line and in your mind you want to win, right? In your mind you need to win. But then after you came up short, that could be one of the disappointments that in a mind. It's like psychologically can get to you. It's like, I knew I needed to win this game and I lost. Crap. First of all, in games, when you play games, you win some, you lose some, as they say. So there are moments you're going to win, of course, but there are also moments where you're going to experience disappointment, even the big disappointment, even when you lose high stakes games. Games that where everything's on the line and things like that. So it's not really easy to overcome it, but it does get you psychologically, especially if you keep, losing repetitively. It does body you up here. Um, Even at school when you're doing exam, and you're doing a big exam that you know in your mind say you have to pass to get to a certain place, and you feel that exam, that can really wear you psychologically. Cause it's like, and as we keep failing big exams, your question is after I said, do I have what it takes to pass this exam? First of all, a couple of things. Setbacks happens, okay? Setbacks will happen. No, not all setbacks are bad. Actually, there are some setbacks that are really good that really are there for you. Greater comeback. You just need to basically be impatient with some help. Now, when you experience disappointments, one of the things you have to realize that disappointments will happen from time to time, failures and things. Failures, it, to be successful, you have to know what it's like to fail first. You experience failure is like, so when you get successful, you can have a greater appreciation for it, for all you have went through, just get to where you are. In order to be great at a particular thing, whether it's games or things like that, in order to ultimately win on a consistent basis, you gotta know to lose first. Yeah, you gotta know to lose first before you ultimately can win in any game or any situation. That's all. You have to know how to fail first before you get better at it. So it doesn't just happen like that. It just because that will help you. That is, the more experience you get, the better. So what disappointments do a lot of time is that the positive part of it is that it helps you gain experience. So when you start over something, you not start over in its entirety like that. As they say, you start over from experience. So I mean, overcoming disappointment is not easy. Like I said, it depends on who you are, the person, it, depending on what you are at the stage. For me, because one of my disappointment experience in high school was in eighth grade was I didn't do well in my first term exam. Actually, I passed my subjects, not surprising, but the grades then I only got 2 A's. That was this my part. I felt like I could have gotten more. Not only that, I didn't get principal award at that, so that was one of my disappointments. And it nevertheless, I came second. I looked at that, I was like, darn. Imagine if I actually was at my best, then no doubt I'll get the top. So what I did was, in a moment, was to reflect on it, look it over, look what I could have done better, and think it over. I made the adjustments I need to make. So ultimately, I made the necessary adjustments I needed to make, especially when it matters most, when it mattered. And I had that mindset, I said in my mind, and I said, so the next 2 terms, the Easter term and the summer term, especially 8th grade at the time, I said, I'm gonna come first in these two. No doubt about it. I'm gonna top it too, regardless of what's gonna go on. And I set my goal for that was my goal for the next 2 terms, and I achieved that goal. Not only that, I actually got 2 principal awards at that too. So I overcame that disappointment. It did continue me psychologically, but like I said, what I did was I looked it over, looked to the grades and thing. Despite the grades I still came second, I should tell you that I was like, oh, okay, just need to be my best next time, and then so um another disappointment I overcame was in primary school when I did well. I actually came third. I look at that and I did study, not as hard as I would. So the adjustment I ultimately made was okay, I'm put more work into it. Because at the end of the day, what the work that you put in is what you gonna get out of. So the work that you put in really matters the most in terms of so made the adjustment I need to make, and ultimately I wanted to play the competition again when I got it the next time. So I worked harder than I worked when I did it the first time. So that was another adjustment I had made. Um Another adjustment I ultimately overcame was I failing like English or social studies. I failed social studies, didn't know how. I was like, I had passed history, but I failed social studies. So I was like, you gotta be kidding me. That was one of those old courses I wanted to over, but because social studies, I did well in it up until when it really mattered, 11th grade. I would get A's in social studies and things like that. I didn't like social studies at first, before I went to high school. I didn't read enough. So I realized that social studies is one of those subjects you had to read a lot. It has a lot of notes in there, so you have to spend quality time. So that just I ultimately made to get A's, and it was to spend quality time studying social studies, and ultimately I got A. And when I did it over and see it said I failed it, I passed it the second time. So made some adjustments, especially in English. Did well in English in 7th grade, you know. And then 11th grade, I failed it. I didn't want to do it over. And then, like I said, but I made the adjustment I needed to make to ultimately pass it the second time. What I'm saying is, more of the story, if you're disappointed about anything, whether it's school, working world, games, like sports, and you lose, let's say you're tracking fast started. Now, to make sure you don't fast start, you have to realize what you did wrong. Now, this is where self-awareness and everything is coming to play to realize if you're aware of what you did and what you could have done next time, in order to not expect at this point, you have to know how to adapt and make the adjustment you need to make in order to adaptability is important in order to overcome disappointments. And also believing that you can bounce back as well. Because depending on how big the disappointment is, it can affect a person where they might just not go at that again. They let fear get in the head. No, so you have to believe that you feel you realize that failure is a setback for a greater comeback. So if you realize that to be alright. Also realize that for example, if you did an exam and you didn't pray enough, so one of the adjustments you would have to make is make sure before your exam go next time you pray. However, you have to put in the work. You can't just pray like that. You have to put in the work because God help those who help themselves. So you have to put in the work, and then the exam call you pray, and then let God do His thing. Get me? So, so one of the things I mentioned, I said adaptability, believing that you can bounce back and have a God by your side that even if you fail, all things will be well and you'll be alright. Just realize that setbacks happens and things like that. Um, I think that ultimate overcame was I talk about the SRO thingy about I lost. So I realized I look back at it and I was like, I was too nervous. I realized if I get nervous, it's like if I get a little bit nervous, no big deal. But if I get extremely nervous, like there's a positive chance that I may not speak as how I want to. My tone and my delivery of the message may not be content as what I need to. So the adjustment I had made when I did the radio interview was to try, if I realized my little nervous, I tried to, you know, try to remain calm and pray before the interview and pray that, actually I prayed when I did the manifest, but my nervousness was just too much. I try not to get too nervous. I believe to be nervous, nothing wrong with it, but too nervous might be problematic. I realized in order to speak clearly and vocally, I had to make sure I'm not too nervous or anything because it might stutter and then I may not get to say how I wanted it to say. So I made adjustments and ultimately I needed at its head. Um, So, I mean, when it comes down to disappointments and anything, and I just overcame, ultimate was when I missed the testimony in camp, I came back next year. So what adjustment I made was, what I was ready for it or not, I was going to do well. So I said in my mind, said, if I get to do this, I'm going to need his head. So I said in my mind and tried to think positively before I do it. It's not just a think you have to actually do it. So you think, try to have a right mind frame. In anything you do, you want to make sure you have a right mind frame for anything. Mental is really important. So anything you're going into, you want to go in that mind frame that you can do this and do that. If your mind believes that you can do great things, then your mind, everything will follow through after that. Now, the only thing you will have to do is make sure your actions apply that, what your mind says. Your mind believes what they tell it. So you really have to watch what they say and things like that. If you're going to do self-talk, you're going to have to try and make sure to be positive. That even if you're facing something that is challenging, that you just listen. I know this is challenging, but I'm going to get through it. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And even if I don't, I'll be right. I'll make the adjustments I'll need to make. And da 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 da. So, another just this my I overcame was I played this game, that match and I lost. I did get frustrated, but I made that adjustment. I said, okay, I lost this game, no biggie. Just try, calm down, and just get my things together, head together, and just try and bounce back. And just realize, alright, I'm gonna bounce back. So you have to believe that you're going to bounce back. Get me? So, like I said, your mind believes what they tell it. So you really have to watch what they say. Your mind is like a computer that programs it. So you really, what you say a lot of time matters, especially when you face disappointments and things like that. So, if there's anything I haven't mentioned in this video, you guys can comment down below. That's the end of, I might do another video for the day done. That's the end of the video. Remember to like, comment, and click on the notification for upcoming videos.